This is my new macro rig, the OM-1 by the company formerly known as Olympus, even though it actually says Olympus still on the camera. And the Olympus 60mm macro lens, second time I own it. Godox TT350 flash. I'm gonna explain why I bought this particular flash in a moment. And today I'm gonna try double the diffusers. So what some people have warned me about seemed to be true, that the TT350 is not that fast. As you could maybe possibly see, it takes a pause in the middle of the stack when I'm stacking 8 photos, and that's not great. Yeah. Now I tried an 8 photo automated in-camera stack at 132 in strength on the flash, and that actually worked great. Now the flash could actually do the whole stack, the whole 8 photos quickly. So yeah, maybe I shouldn't throw this one away already. Maybe it's actually possible to use it if you just use a slightly lower strength on the flash. So why did I buy this camera and lens, and will I be switching to Olympus? Well, the answer to the second question is unclear. I am not sure at all if I will switch or not. I bought this to test this system because I was really impressed when I borrowed the OM-1 and the 90mm macro lens from OM system earlier. You might have seen that video. I was so incredibly impressed, not only with the 90mm lens but also with the OM system, and especially with the focus stacking capabilities. The in-camera focus stacking was really impressive to me and would make my work so much easier if it really works. Yeah, that is why I bought this camera and this lens, just to try the system for a few weeks and to see how it feels. I also should mention that Olympus actually offered me a 30% discount when I bought this, and that was a big help for making this decision. I'm also pretty impressed with the dynamic range of this sensor in this camera. I only used Panasonic cameras earlier when I tried Micro Four Thirds, and the dynamic range in these cameras was really bad and disappointing, if you ask me. But on the OM-1 I think the dynamic range is pretty good. Let's try some moss. I spent an hour or so yesterday setting up the camera, configuring all the options, going through all the menus and stuff, and I like that experience. Everything is in a logical place, it's easy to understand how to configure everything. The camera feels good, both in ergonomics and in the menus and everything, so my first impressions are I really like this camera. I can see there are actually some ants out today. Even though it's early, it's pretty warm today. It's like 10-11 degrees and sunny, so I guess they take the chance to be outdoors a bit. Let's see if we can snap some photos. I don't think we could do any stacking of these because they move too fast. So the reason I did buy the 60mm lens and not the new 90mm is because the new 90mm is so damn expensive. And also on Micro Four Thirds, one-time magnification as you get with the 60mm is actually equivalent. It's actually equivalent to 2x magnification on full frame, which is what I'm used to and which is what I'm most of the time perfectly happy with. And on top of that, this lens is extremely small and lightweight. So I figured let's start with this lens and then see how it works for me, and if I do feel that I would need more magnification or a better manual focusing mechanism, as I think the 90mm has, then I might buy the 90mm later. But it is a very expensive lens. Takes around 5 to 10 seconds for it to do the in-body stack. Can be a little bit annoying, but you pretty quickly get used to it. But I'm so impressed at how good a job the camera does with the stacking. I mean, I've done a lot of stacking myself in advanced software on my computer, and it's hard to make a stack work, but this camera seems to be really good at it. Alright, I think I got a few sample photos now. Let's go back to the studio for my analysis after looking at the photos and my first impressions overall of this rig. So we're back in the studio, and I think my biggest question about this rig is if the one-time magnification of the lens is enough for me. I mean, that corresponds to 2x magnification on full frame, and that is what I usually shoot. But on my full frame camera I have a larger resolution. I have 30 megapixels and pretty often I crop a bit. And I don't have as much room to crop on the 20 megapixel sensor of the OM-1 camera. So I guess we'll have to wait and see until the insects start coming out here in Sweden, and then I will know for real if the OM-1 with the 60mm lens is enough or if I need to get the 90mm lens. Either way, I'm really happy with this camera so far. I've not used it that much, but I'm really happy with the image quality. I'm really happy with the dynamic range, the sharpness, the colors, like everything. And the focus stacking is awesome. The only mistake I made with this kit was the flash, I think. The TT350 is not that fast or powerful. I could not take more than 4 frames in a row at 1/16. I had to decrease the strength to 132 to take larger series. I do have the V350, but as you know from my review of it, I was very unhappy with that flash. I got a lot of black frames, and that is why I wanted to try something else. But as I said, I'm suspecting that maybe this unit or this battery is just faulty. So I have another one on the way, and I will make a comparison between these two and also the MICAE MK320, which is my favorite flash up until now. But the problem with the MICAE MK320 is that while it is fast, it is not consistent enough in the strength of the exposures, which was a bit of a problem with the OM-1 camera. So I'm hoping that maybe my new Godox V350 that's on the way to me will have both the speed I want and also the consistency in the strength of the exposures. So my conclusion is that my first impressions of the OM system is that I love it, and I understand why so many macro photographers use it, but I'm not sure yet if I will switch to it permanently. We will have to see in the nearest few weeks as I try it out more. Don't forget to check out my review of the OM 90mm ultra revolutionary macro lens, and see you soon again!